Hello YouTube friends, and welcome to my channel. I'm Darlene, and I'll be doing another reading for you today on deceased loved ones. So it's interesting, the more I've been doing this on YouTube, these people are queuing up before I even start the reading now. All I have to do is set my intent, whereas I started out pulling the cards and I like doing it that way, but when the stories come through this quickly, then I don't really need to so much pull cards for, like I typically do on this side. I would pull it for the deceased one or ones, and then typically this side would be more about you, so that you can connect these two stories and know that it's for you. But that's I haven't had to wait for that, or haven't had to do that lately in the case today as well. So let me just start by talking a little bit about who's here today, and then I will pull some cards. So just look at my nice little table here for a minute, if you will, please, while I talk. So who's coming through today is a family, actually. It's a mother and father and two young children. And I also like to comment, this is just an observation for me, that also these YouTube readings have been, these last few have been fairly traumatic deaths, which, it's kind of hard to be in that energy for too long, but not hard, that's not the right word. Uncomfortable is the right word. But I feel strongly that I'm being guided to do this to help people. And so I know these aren't always pleasant messages, but they are what they are, and I hope someone out there is helped by them. So anyway, I'm just rambling, y'all. I apologize. Let me get into your message. So the family that came through today, as I said, is a mother, father, and two young children. And they're telling me that they died in, they're saying a fire, a house fire, but they're specifically saying, but they didn't die from fire itself. They keep saying fumes. So, and they're showing me, like, I think it was somewhere up north where they, well, I live in the United States, in the South, in Alabama. So what they're implying or indicating for me is they lived somewhere up north, where they have like fuel oil, I guess, heaters in the houses up there. Because I keep seeing that kind of I've been up north, I've seen those kind of heating systems. They usually are in the basement and all that, I think. So they're showing me this, like a fuel oil heater, but they're saying, no, it was fumes, F-U-M-E-S. So I don't know if I don't know how that works. I don't know if it was, maybe they also had some gas issues in the house. I don't know about fuel oil systems, if that could have been a thing from the fuel oil system. You guys will have to make sense of this, because I just don't know about those kinds of heating systems. But I'm just relaying the message. They're saying I guess that's their way of comforting the family, that they did not die by fire. They died from fumes, and they want me to make that message clear, because obviously that would be a very upsetting image for any of us to have in our minds. Now they're also telling me that apparently who they're trying to reach today is a family member. This feels like it was an older child. I'm seeing maybe anywhere from, like 11, 12, 13, maybe could have been a little older or slightly younger, but in that range. In this child, it could have been that this child was from a previous marriage. So there's an age gap, is my point, between them and these two younger children. So this older child was living with this family, but was not at home when the fire happened. I think this child was either spending the night, like with friends, or maybe with grandma or something, but they were not home when this happened. And so this child who survived is apparently who they're trying to reach today in this message. And now I will just pull some cards here for you, the viewer who's here, if you're relating to this message. And let's see what Spirit wants to bring through. And I love if this message does resonate. As always, if any of them resonate, please make a comment and give me that affirmation. I don't need it. I don't do it for that. But it's always nice to know it's reaching somebody and that it makes a difference for somebody out there. So if this is for you, or you think you know who it's for, please tell them about the video. I'd be very grateful. All right, now you guys, if you've watched my other videos, you know I prefer to take jumpers, so it takes me a little while to shuffle. I appreciate your patience. Well, and then sometimes that happens. They just jump out. Okay, let's see what we got here. Wow, that's the whole story here. Okay. All right. Let me tune in. Y'all excuse me while I'm going to get quiet for just a minute and see what this message is telling me here. I should get some fancy music or something to play in the background. Y'all just have to hear crickets for a minute. Okay, let's see. Well, the first message I'm getting is that I feel like there was a gentleman who took, I'm going to say, custody or responsibility for raising this child that was left behind. I don't know if that was a grandparent or an uncle. I'm not sure. But they're acknowledging that person and giving thanks and saying how much they appreciate you stepping up and taking care of this child after they left. That's a very important message. They know that it was a bit of a hardship. I think maybe I'm getting the sense that that was a financial hardship for whoever this was, but they did it willingly and lovingly, and that they are happy it was you, because even though you might not have had a financial you might not have been wealthy or whatever, they know that your wealth was in the love that you gave to this child. And let's see what else. Let's see what else here, the other messages. Yeah, they're acknowledging that it was hard. I don't think you had, whoever this was, I don't think you had children of your own, or maybe if you're the grandparent, you certainly didn't have children living at home. And so they're acknowledging that was even a bigger selfless thing for you to do, to take this child in, and that they saw that it was a difficult journey and that you persevered through that challenge. The message, all right, just a second, y'all. I'm sorry, I've got a couple of things in my ears going on here. I think there's two messages here, so there could be either two groups or two layers of energy here happening. One is that you, whoever this person, if this was an uncle, let's say, that took this family in, you have since had your own children and integrated this child that was left into your own family. And again, they're just acknowledging that and saying how much they appreciate how you've made that child your own and woven them into your family tapestry, if you will. The other layer of message I'm getting from this is that the children, the whole family that is on the other side is looking in on you. I mean, that's, and the father and the parents. In other words, it's like we see, these children see this man and this man sees these children, but they're separated by this tapestry in the middle. And that to me is symbolic of the veil that separates the seen from the unseen, or the known from the unknown, or, you know, the quote unquote living from the ones who have passed on. And they're just acknowledging that they see what you're doing, and that they're checking in on you, and they want you to know that. And I think you do know that. I think that whoever took responsibility for this child who's left behind does know that. And although that you're not, I don't get the sense that this person is a, you know, kind of a, what I call a woo-woo person like I am, you know. But they did. They knew it. They felt it. They acknowledged that they felt your presence, the presence of this family checking in on this child. And I think they're also acknowledging that you, this person again who took this child in. See, I thought this was going to be a reading for the child, but it turns out I think it's for this person. And maybe you will pass on this message, hopefully, to the child. But that you have encouraged, I think, this child to also be sensitive and reach out and talk to the parents and the family who have passed on, you know, as if they are still present. And I think that's so, so beautiful, and such a, it's just somewhat unusual, but I think it's a very important and beautiful gesture. And I'm going to say, call it a skill to talk to those on the other side as if they're still here. To impart that wisdom to this child is a gift, because they are still here. They are, you know, their essence, there is a part of them that absolutely sees what's going on in your life. They have seen the struggle that you've gone through. They've seen the difficult choices that you've had to make, the other options that you've had to make, and the sacrifices that you've made to make this happen and to raise this child. And it's been a long and slow journey, but you managed to find balance in that. You balanced your life with your desires, and yet all the while I feel like you were the bedrock. You maintained balance. You helped this child find balance back in their life because of how you are and were when this tragedy happened. And they are acknowledging, one thing they're saying to me is that you didn't really have time to grieve this situation yourself. That's what this Three of Hearts is telling me, that, or what the message they're giving me around this card. That it wasn't, they're saying it wasn't fair to you because you had your own grief around the situation, but you didn't really have the time to grieve that. And again, they're just acknowledging that, and that you just stepped in immediately and came forward and you know, took responsibility. Excuse me. Yes, and you saw to it, you made it a priority to help this child. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm going to say have a rebirth, but that's only because that's sort of the representation of this Judgment card. But a Judgment card, it's like an awakening, a rebirth, a reconciliation. So I'm getting two meanings off of this. But it's coming back to this balance. You help this child maintain balance emotionally, especially because of I just keep wanting to hear you were a bedrock, you were a touchstone for this child during this difficult time. But they're also saying, because the imagery in this card is representative of, you know, there's different ways to look at it, but this is someone who's experiencing a rebirth, a re-emergence, and to me, it's symbolic of them on the, again, and them on the other side of this veil, and you here in the physical, but you can touch, you can experience them even though they are not in the physical. And they're just, it's just a reminder from them to do that more, they're acknowledging that you are doing that, but that they're saying, but we feel that. We're affirming that we see and hear when you do that, and that you've taught this child to do that. And for that, there, you know, Spirit is going to send you many, many blessings for that, is the message I'm getting. Oh, goodness. Let me ask Spirit if there's anything else. I just feel like that's a nice place to stop, but I'm also hearing, let's see if there's anything else Spirit wants to add to this message. Excuse me. They're also giving me a message. They're saying, say hello to Grandma for us. And there's something about, okay, something about bluebirds. They're acknowledging something about bluebirds, or maybe they're sending bluebirds to Grandma, and that's their way of saying hello to Grandma. So tell Grandma to look for the bluebirds. Maybe she's a bird watcher or something, but they're acknowledging that. And it's interesting that that message comes through, because the other day in a reading, I'm sitting here looking at my window, and you can't see this, but I have I live in a townhouse, and there's a gutter situation that I can see outside of, just a little peep of a gutter on the corner here outside my unit that actually is my neighbor's unit. And it like creates this little space, little triangle where it comes down from the soffit onto the side of the building. And I looked up the other day, and there was this female bluebird sitting there looking in my window at me, and then the male joins her, and they both just sat there for the longest time just looking in my window. And I often associate that with spirits that have crossed over, and especially like my brother who's crossed over a year ago, and I just felt like that was just such a special message, and I was grateful. Anyway, sidebar, okay. Yes, they're saying, again, they're just bringing that same message back. Use your intuition. You know, sometimes you attribute their presence for angels, and they're saying, certainly there are angels. If you believe in angels, there are angels, but they're saying sometimes it's not angels. Sometimes, you know, if you tune in and you use your intuition, it's actually us. And if you reach up and with your intentions, like this card is a card of victory, but if you are reaching up, if you're extending your energy and your intention to connect with them, then they can better connect with you, and they want you to tell this message to their child. To know that, yes, and in that way, you know, celebrate them. Celebrate that you're still a family, that they're still looking in on you. Okay, thank you. That they're still looking in on you, and they're watching you, and they still feel like you are their family, and they, you know, they're in the way that any family would look out for one another. And this last message is for this child that was left behind. So I'm not getting very clearly if this is a girl child or boy child that was left behind. If it's a girl, they're acknowledging that, you know, I think she's a young teenager, and they're acknowledging that I think she's got a crush on a young man, and they're acknowledging that that's what's going on with her right now. And if it's a young man, they're acknowledging the same, that he's got a crush on someone going on right now, and they're just saying, that's their way of, again, letting you know that they are looking on in your life, and that they see what's going on. And they're saying, yeah, we approve, just take it slow, but we approve of this person. So, and let me see what else is here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else particularly important, but of course, right. And I always love it when they do this. They didn't, hang on one second, it's like I don't usually go more than 5 cards deep into the deck, because the energy gets pretty polluted at that point. But I love when they bring forth the roses. That to me is their symbol of saying they love you and they miss you, and they're watching out, you know, their roses there, this young man. But it's about the roses on the card. That's what I'm drawn to there. Yeah, they're just acknowledging you again, being the emperor, being the person who took responsibility, stepped up to the plate, took charge, had to make some difficult decisions along the way, had to make sacrifices in your life. Maybe you didn't have the exciting life that you had dreamed of because of this, but you persevered. And this Knight of Swords is then bringing that message in, and it's the kind of acknowledgement for me of bringing in the message that you fought, you took the high ground, you fought and stood for the high ground to do what you did, the sacrifice you made. And again, they're sending their love to you. They're sending their love and gratitude and appreciation for what you have done. Well, I think that's it for today, folks. If this reading was helpful, I'm very grateful that you watched to the end. Please hit that like button and subscribe. If you think this story belongs to someone you know, please share the video so that it might comfort somebody out there. I'm always grateful, and I hope you will all be well. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.